Welcome to the Tri-District Membership Workshop. It is now called to order. I'm Siglinda Warren and serve as District 6600, 6630, and 6650, your Assistant Rotary Coordinator. This is as close to the in-person as we started planning in January. The quote of Paul Harris comes to mind, says, "This is a changing world, and we must be prepared to change with it." The committee did just that. We regrouped, and here we join you almost 9 months later, almost like a birth. It feels like it's the ending. I'd like to introduce the co-host, to the Zoom co-host to you. Greg Maciola comes to you from District 67080 in Tennessee, and Cheryl Warren, District 6630, right around the corner. So Cheryl, hand it over to you.
Thank you so much, PDG Siglinde. We will be recording this session, as you heard, including the breakouts. The recording feature for participants is disabled unless you are a host or co-host. Then you may record. Please do not begin your recordings for the hosts and co-hosts until you get into your breakouts. No recording by other means is permitted. We want to share a few tips to help make this experience beneficial for everyone. First, keep your microphone muted during our general sessions. Take a moment to locate the chat function on your screen. Generally, it's at the bottom, but everybody's screen could be different. Locate that chat function and use this, please, during the general session for questions, comments, or just to say hello to one another. And share where you're from in the chat. Check your camera position. We want to be able to see you, not your forehead or your chin, but you as a person. We enjoy seeing faces during this time especially. It's the thing that's connecting us. After our general session is completed, you will automatically be placed into a breakout room. Anyone who possibly registered late that did not get assigned, you will probably hang out in the breakout room for just a couple of seconds while we assign you. If you end up there, don't panic. You will get into a break room, and it does take a couple seconds to transition. So just be patient as you automatically move through cyberspace. During the breakouts, you can unmute your microphone to share your ideas and engage with other participants. Just be mindful. Others can hear your phone ring, your email and text chimes, or if you're shuffling papers or mowing the lawn. It can be difficult, but try not to talk over one another. I know I'm guilty of it. It's always a best practice to stay on mute if you're not speaking. To remain engaged, though, avoid multitasking, replying to emails or text messages, or working on other projects. We do want you engaged. We want you to walk away from this session and make it meaningful for you and everyone else. With that said, it is possible you may see a few of us multitasking because we are monitoring various aspects of the session. Many network providers are seeing massive increases in residential bandwidth use. We've already had it happen in the pre-session today. So if you become throttled, you may try to log off and come back on, or you can skip. You can get off your audio and simultaneously only come on for video and call in for the audio. If you do encounter a problem, use the chat box and select Greg Maciolik or me. We get a notice that we have a chat waiting for us, a private chat. You should also, all the facilitators and hosts have a phone number as well once you're in the breakouts. We hope you enjoy the session. And I would like now to turn it back over to PDG Siglinde Warren.
Our video is called Rotary Membership Anytown, and some of you might have seen this already. And I thought with this video, it's the focus of our presenter is finding the right Rotary fit and whatever will make you happy. But as you're watching this video, this short video, focus on how your community, whether large or small, can relate to points highlighted in this video. Greg, please start the video.
As Rotary, we often ask ourselves, how do we grow? personally, professionally, and organizationally? The answer is simple. To grow Rotary, we need more Rotary clubs. Let's use Anytown as an example. Anytown is a city of 100,000 people and home to one proud Rotary club. But there are hundreds of other people of action, just like us, who are uniquely qualified to become Rotary members. They share the same drive and represent the values and fundamentals of a Rotary member. So why aren't they members? Well, the current club meets on Monday. There are leaders in Anytown who can't meet on a Monday. By excluding this segment, the potential members in Anytown has shrunk. Now consider, what if the meeting is at noon on Monday? There are people who can meet on Monday, but can't meet at noon. So now we have a smaller audience for Rotary in Anytown. Of the remaining group, some aren't interested in a club with a sit-down lunch and speakers. They are passionate about service, but aren't interested in a traditional club experience. And that is okay. The Rotary Club of Anytown isn't doing anything wrong. It just doesn't appeal to particular segments of the community. And if we're going to thrive for years to come, we must adapt and embrace change. In Anytown, we have an opportunity to expand because potential members are everywhere. More than half of the eligible people are prospective Rotary members, waiting to make a bigger impact in their community. But what Rotary Club exists for them? If Anytown creates new clubs at new times and new places, the hidden potential for Rotary will be revealed. As people of action, we must broaden our reach and provide opportunities to all leaders in the community. Together, all of us can grow Rotary.
As I mentioned, it has some good points, even though it starts off with a community of 100,000, but the suggestions they have could really apply to small ones. What I would like to do is welcome our Rotary coordinator, Bob Callahan, who is here from Alabama. And he lives in Fairhope, Alabama, and serves as Zone 30 Rotary coordinator, and we are now part of Zone 30. And rather than giving you all the typical bio of Bob, I thought I'd focus on his Rotary history, because I came across something that he said in his acceptance as Rotary coordinator. So I am now doing this as if in the words of Bob. It says, in 1989, a friend from church invited me to lunch at his Rotary Club. I knew many of the members, found the people friendly, and when asked if I might be interested in membership, I said yes. I could see that many community leaders, such as our mayor, city council members, judges, hospital president, and business owners were members, and I frankly anticipated I could gain personally through membership. I wish I could say that I joined and immediately became involved and contributed to the health of my club. But because my focus was on I and personal gain, I missed the mark. I was one of those often referenced as a member of Rotary, but not a Rotarian. I didn't have time to be on a club committee. My attendance was poor. I sat at a back table when at meetings. I give nothing to our foundation. I eventually quit. I quit Rotary, but Rotary didn't quit me. Several members persisted in sharing with me news of the club, inviting me to just come to lunch and visit, and eventually the prodigal son returned. Shortly after I returned to membership, Hurricane Katrina hit the Central Gulf Coast, changed my Rotary experience and my life. In the aftermath of Katrina and through my Rotary Club, I was able to experience at a personal and intimate level Rotarians helping people who in many cases had lost everything. Through a chainsaw, cook stove, and mosquito bites, I learned about Rotary service. Katrina was a Rotary moment for me, my gateway to finally understanding that Rotary is a path to giving, not getting. 3 years later, I became my club's president. After terms as a district committee chair and assistant governor, I served as governor of District 688 in 2013-14. I believe there are many potential Rotarians seeking what Rotary has to offer, the opportunity to serve. My goal is to help them find their opportunity for happiness and Rotary service. I thought that was so fitting for what we are trying to do with our workshop. So I present you Bob Callahan.
Thank you so much, Glenda. And I am absolutely shocked that you could find that. And it's so unusual because this week, Hurricane Sally devastated my hometown.
Oh,
And we have been, I've never seen devastation, not even in Katrina, like Sally has brought on our community. And I'm so proud. We now have 3 Rotary clubs here, and each one of them had a disaster trailer that we used to take other places, to Hurricane Laura and things like that. But we were all set up. We were feeding people and feeding linemen who'd come in. We were taking trees off people's houses here at home. And it was, it's been quite an experience. I can tell you that. But I am touched by the introduction, and I thank you for it. And I thank you even more for the effort that you are making to grow Rotary. And it's just my pleasure to be with you and all the Rotarians from Northern Ohio. And it's also my distinct pleasure to introduce Jenny Stotts. Jenny currently serves as the membership chair of Rotary District 6690. She's a charter member of the Rotary Club of Athens Sunrise. Her favorite Rotary activities include RILA and Paddle for Polio Plus, an annual event featuring kayaks. Professionally, Jenny is the executive director of the Athens Casa Gal program and the regional coordinator of the Southeast Ohio CASA. But Jenny describes herself as a mother, a wife, a friend, a social worker, a Rotarian, and a troublemaking millennial. It's what we need more of, is troublemaking millennials, Jenny. And so please, I turn it over to you, Jenny, and thank you again, Glenda, for the kind intro.
Well, thank you, Bob.
thank you, Bob.
Thank you so much. So right off the start, I'm going to cause some trouble before we begin. I have exactly 2 rules for the next 7 minutes, is how much time you'll be listening to me, but I have exactly 2 rules for those 7 minutes. One is that I would like for you to find some excitement and get excited and be happy and find some energy. And 2, I would like it if you would laugh at any of my jokes. It just helps me feel better about myself. So those are the 2 rules. If you follow them, we'll be just fine. So what a time it is to be in Rotary right now. You know, and I know to some of you, I might look familiar because I'm the Rotary Happy lady. But really, what is Rotary Happy? I'm glad you asked. So Rotary Happy is just my way of saying creating a positive membership experience. And I think it's the most important thing that we can do to grow and sustain our membership. Now, I've been told, somewhat as an insult, but I don't take it that way, but I've been told that I'm rah Rotary. I know that was probably meant to make fun of me a little bit, but I don't think it's that much of a bad thing. I'm excited about Rotary. I'm Rotary Happy, and I'll shout it from the rooftop if I want. But you know, this commitment and this passion that I have for creating a positive member experience, it actually stems from a time when I wasn't quite so Rotary Happy. I definitely wasn't rah Rotary. In fact, I was a part of a club that had become toxic and unstable, and at times it seemed to me as a woman unsafe. And being a part of a club where there was bullying and secrets and judgments and exclusion, well, that isn't the type of member experience I want for anyone. Now, there were times as I was in the thick of all of this that my husband and my friends would ask me why I didn't just quit. Was this even worth it? And I actually thought about that often myself, but I couldn't quit Rotary. It had become too important to me. I believed in the mission too much. Rotary, the real Rotary, had become the way that I had always wanted to live my life. You see, Rotary had become a part of who I am. So I didn't quit Rotary. I couldn't quit Rotary, but I could quit that club, and so did many others. And what happened next is actually a pretty cool story. I and several other former members started to meet just casually, just to support one another in the little back room of this coffee shop. And each week, more and more people joined us until finally, it just made sense to charter a new Rotary club. And in just 4 years, we've gone from a few people meeting for coffee to a club of nearly 80. And I had the chance to serve as our club's second president. And during that year, I got to induct a new member every other week. And every single member of our club was engaged in service. I'm most proud of that last part. We're full of energy, we're silly, we laugh a lot, but we do a lot of good work in our community. And we did that because we set out to build a stronger, more resilient, and more inclusive club that was designed to prevent all of those behaviors that over time created a negative member experience. Now, I know that as club leaders, you are hearing the calls right now to grow your membership, now more than ever. And that can sound a little frightening if the focus is just on getting people in the door. So what I ask of each of you is to use the numbers as a guide, but please focus your energy on creating a positive member experience. Build a club culture that is Rotary happy. And let's think for a second about why you should grow, because we say that a lot, grow Rotary. I myself say it a lot, but we don't want to grow Rotary just to put some impressive numbers up on the board. That's right. This isn't about the scoreboard. We need to grow Rotary because it expands our capacity to do good in the world. And we know that above all else, members join and members stay because of the service they do and the friends they meet. It's certainly why I've stayed in Rotary. So our best tool to grow Rotary is to cultivate positive, Rotary happy, if you will, experiences for all of our members. And here's why. Now, some of you might have heard this story before, so don't give it away, but about 9 months ago in January, I purchased an electric kettle. You know, the kind that sit on your porch. Actually, I have it right here. I'll show it to you. An electric kettle. I purchased it. So I get this kettle, and now, several months later, I use it for everything. It's basically been the answer to every question I never knew I had. My kids use it every day. My husband uses it every day. It has been a positive addition to the Stotts family household. Now, for those of you that are wondering, where on earth is she going with this ridiculous story about a kettle? Let me explain. Within 1 week of owning this kettle, I purchased a second one to take to my office because I knew that my coworkers would enjoy it too. I've sent 2 as gifts to various people, and I've recommended it to countless others. Now, think about why I'm doing this. It's not because I'll get anything in return. It's not because I'm getting paid to tell you about this kettle. There's no gimmick. I've just found it useful and beneficial, so I want to share it with you. Now, I'm certainly not suggesting that Rotary is like a kettle, but I am suggesting that we apply what we know and understand about human behavior to Rotary. As human beings, we are biologically programmed to connect to others. When we observe someone that we care about experiencing happiness, it has an impact on us. And in fact, we have releases of dopamine and serotonin, right? Those are the neurotransmitters in our brains that help us feel pleasure and joy. We crave it. So think about the last time that you tried something new on the menu at your favorite takeout spot, or you read a book that was really interesting and inspired you, or you watched a really good Rotary video. You probably recommended those things to others. Why? It's because you're invested in their happiness. It matters to you. So, and just imagine if I talk this much about a tea kettle, imagine how much I talk about Rotary, how much I just can't help but share it with others because it's so exciting. So let's apply that framework to how we build healthy, vibrant, and sustainable clubs that are Rotary happy. Take a look at the experience that you offer to your members. And I intentionally use the word offer because everything in Rotary should be an offering, in my opinion. I don't think it should be a requirement. And now, really, during a time when the Rotary experience around the world looks a little different anyways, take a risk, stretch, try something new, try something out of the box. But please, please think about what makes you Rotary happy. Think about what makes your members, your fellow members, Rotary happy. And stay focused on offering an experience that builds on those basic principles, and you will see growth. You will see engaged and excited members who just can't help but share their Rotary happy experience with everyone that they know. The science is behind us on this one. So I extend my gratitude to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for sharing these few minutes with me, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the workshop. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jenny and Bob. And we really appreciate you coming. You didn't have to drive from Athens, which is a plus, or Bob drive from Fairhope, Alabama. And if you look on a map and see where Fairhope is, you can see why there were issues with Sally. It's just amazing. So, what we'd like to do is pose some questions to Jenny. And if you have a question for her, please put it on question on chat, and I will read them to you. I have one, and the first one is, what tipped the scale for you leaving your club?
It was, you know, a lot of small things. We had certainly, by the point that I left that club, had made several attempts to try and repair and fix some things. And it really got to a point of critical mass for me. And I certainly didn't leave the club intending to start a new club. I had actually planned to just sit tight for a few months and join a different club in our community. And it kind of happened somewhat organically, that just, you know, from talking about the type of experience that we all wanted to have. And then we built the club that I'm a member of today.
Another question, what service projects does your club do?
We do, when we started the club, we really wanted to offer a large range of service projects so that everyone, no matter how busy they were, what their time constraints were, could still participate in some way. We also have a lot of people with families, a lot of parents in our club. So we wanted, you know, to offer a lot of projects that families could participate in. So we do anywhere from 15 to 24 projects a year. We do one every month, and we do flash projects every month as well. So we do a lot of the typical stuff like food drives, you know, food pantries, handing out supplies. We did some healthcare appreciation stuff. We just recently raised money. This one's a little unusual. We just recently raised some money for a project in Ecuador that was designing houses to keep a certain type of bug out. And we raised that money by challenging all of our board members to see who could raise the most money would eat a bug. And we would take a video of it. So we did that. I actually purchased barbecue flavored crickets for the occasion. So that's maybe one that's a little more unusual.
Yeah. How do you recruit, another question, how do you recruit millennials?
So, you know, I would get asked that question a lot. And my answer is kind of nothing. In terms of the things you typically think about with recruitment. And instead, we really focused on creating a really positive and engaging experience for everyone that we had. And then people just wanted to be a part of it. So that's how we were really building it. But I think taking advantage of all of the flexible options that we have for people to experience, because right, we're not asking people to join a club, we're asking them to share an experience with us in Rotary. So being as flexible and taking advantage of all the options we have now, I think is one way to just eliminate barriers. To someone like me, who's mid-career professional with a young family, I really need a lot of flexibility in my member experience to be able to participate.
And one last question. Can you name one or two of the silly things you do at your new club, and how can we promote Rotary Happy?
So we do a really great getting to know you exercise. It's called the Rotary Hot Seat. And we have a list of questions, about 12 questions. And randomly, people are in the hot seat that week. They know about it ahead of time, but they roll a dice. We actually keep losing the dice when we meet in person. So we have an app now for it. There's a rolling dice app. And then they have to answer a question, but it's an off the resume question, like what's on your bucket list? What's your favorite sports story? What concert was your first concert? So we kind of get to know each other. And then people can put pennies for polio, to ask follow-up questions. So sometimes we really get to know each other that way, and that makes it really fun and silly. Another thing that we do to get to know each other and to build some networking is we have something called the Rotarizer, which is where members who opt into the Rotarizer each quarter get randomly paired with someone else. And the challenge is that they have to do something together in that quarter. So it could mean, I've done everything from go paddle boarding with someone. We had some do zip lining, walked across the New River Gorge Bridge. just to go do something or just have lunch with them and just get to know them. And the cool thing about the Rotarizer is that it has spawned a lot of service projects. So, you know, the two people who never really would hang out or talk too much now are suddenly talking and coming forward with an idea about a house build or about some project that we can get involved in. So it's kind of a cool stuff happens when you get two Rotarians talking to each other. So.
Okay, I know there are a whole bunch of other questions, but with time, we do need to go to the breakout. Greg, would it mess things up if I ask another question? Or Cheryl? Well, since
No,
they're
go
thinking
ahead.
about it.
Go ahead. I had to unmute. Yes, you may ask some more questions.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Question is, what kind of a person do you look for in a prospective member?
You know, I think that everyone has the potential to be a Rotary member. Our club is really open to just about any demographic, and you know, from age, I think we range like 21 to 70 something in our club. We have definitely probably more women than men in our club, or identify as women in our club. So not really looking at a particular person. And, you know, I think our club is not our club's not magical either. I mean, we've had our own hurdles to go through and things that we've had to work through. So I think it's just a matter of being willing to adapt every time a new person joins. And I really firmly believe that Rotary clubs don't belong to us as members or to club presidents or districts. I really think that Rotary clubs belong to the community that they serve. And I think that we have a responsibility to serve and reflect that community really well. So as our community and their needs change, I think that we as a Rotary club should be willing to change right along with that and adapt to and kind of rise to the challenge of need. So we really focus more on that than kind of what type of people we want to get into our club.
Okay. Thank you so much, both to you and Bob. Really appreciate it. Maybe one thing, there is still a couple of questions there. If, like before you leave, once they're in the breakouts, if you would write in and answer in the chat to those questions, I think folks would really appreciate it. Thank you so very much, Jenny. We really appreciate all your help, and Bob also. So thank you very much, and for both of you. And like I said, we are in the same zone. Before we go to the breakouts, a little bit of a prologue. Bev and Mike have spent mega hours providing you with a meaningful breakout session, focusing on your topic selection and club size. Greg and Cheryl would put you in those sessions, technology. So Greg and Cheryl, are you ready to send us on our magic carpet ride to the breakouts?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
You ready to go?
Ready to go.
All right, adios.
Okay.
Welcome back to the closing general session. We ask that all participants please remain muted unless you are presenting. We are now starting the recording, and I will turn the meeting back over to our MC, PDG Siglende Warren.
Wait for those 10 seconds. Okay, first of all, I would like to recognize and thank our facilitators and hosts. Session would not have been possible without them. We have a couple of announcements. If you registered only for today's session, but did so prior to August 20th or by September 6th, your name was in the drawing for the Paul Harris. So anyway, everybody was included. Our winners are Sandy Lang from the Rotary Club of North Canton and Melanie Satterfield from the Rotary Club of Oberlin. They receive a Paul Harris, and I believe the paperwork is already in once we have that information. So thank you for registering early. Thank you for attending, and your Paul Harris should be on your way. We want to take a few highlights of the breakout sessions. So what we'd like you to do, we'll start with keeping clubs vital. If we have two sessions to report. Keep your highlights to about 30 seconds. Is there somebody from Keeping Clubs Vital who would like to share?
Yes, I'm Carol Barber from 6600 Marion Club. We had a lot of good ideas. One thing I was concerned about the meeting with Zoom and not being, not our club, some of our club members not being involved, like most of them aren't involved. They don't come to the Zoom meetings. And they said that at some clubs, they said people could call their members, just say, hey, how are you doing, or they could do it by email. I really think just calling them is a good idea, just more personal way to be connected, get them, feel like they're still involved with Rotary. Some people talked about if they have a new member orientation or not. There was one club, they did a one-on-one new member thing. They had one person that talked to the new members one-on-one, and they told them all about Rotary, and they had them go to a board meeting, so they really knew about what was happening with Rotary overall that way. And I can relate to that since I am on the board now. I think you know a lot more about Rotary just being on the board. So.
Okay, thank you so much. Can we have another group from Keeping Clubs Vital?
Lee Kenyatta from the Mentor Club.
Hi, Lee.
We did a couple different things. One of the clubs mentioned that they did a challenge to have 2 or more members go to parks and take pictures of them going on a walk. And it actually got picked up by the local news because they were posting it all over all of their social media pages. And so that's a way to kind of connect with other Rotarians and a way to connect overall. The other one that came up was the concept of casting a wider net for speakers. So when you think about Zoom and all the places in the world that Rotary exists, in theory, as long as you can get the timing right, you can have the Ohio Supreme Court Justice or the Treasurer. And another way of doing that is also, especially for the smaller clubs or the technically challenged clubs, work within your district or your cluster to find a way to work together so that you can have 3 or 4 clubs all logging into the same meeting. And then at least you're connecting with other Rotarians as well. And depending on the caliber of speaker, you could really get some interest. And the other way was putting those invites online, putting them on Facebook. If you're using the meeting room, it's a way that you can screen in case someone's on there to do not so good. So those were some of the pieces that came out.
Okay, thank you. And you refer to clusters. In some districts, they're called divisions. So, but that's a way to keep together. Then let's go on to making Rotary work. Could we have a representative from one of the breakouts tell us about what makes Rotary work? Is there any?
It's Barb Thomas from Oberlin, and we had members from Poland, Minerva, Finley, Tiffin, Cortland, and Oberlin. Several ideas. Number 1, create new directions in fundraising, new strategies, basically, retool, because that fundraising is key to being able to do what we do. 2, maybe put a greater emphasis on service projects, especially those outside, and then working toward safe indoors. Some organizations are doing things with inside air that may be suitable for projects. 3rd, just have greater flexibility in the meeting organization. Perhaps do some combos where meeting outside as well as Zoom for those who can't meet or don't feel comfortable, but keeping flexible, changing things around a bit. Again, keeping the interest and excitement. And last, have an intentional written membership growth plan. Putting things down as to how you will grow the club. And as one member pointed out, being sure every Rotary member knows membership growth is every person's responsibility. It's not a committee of just certain individuals. It's every member, and keep emphasizing that. Don't let people forget, hey, if they're at church, they may spot somebody that they think would be a great contributor. Everybody has that job. So those are our 4 takeaways.
Thank you so much. What about one more group from making Rotary work?
Seglinda, I'm Catherine
Yes.
from the E-Club in District 6630, and
Yes.
there were 6 clubs represented in our discussion, although only 4 of them could make it the whole time. We talked about how we use the avenues of service in our clubs to make our Rotary clubs work. And I guess coincidentally, most of our clubs, all of our clubs were relatively small clubs to very small clubs, and emphasize youth activities. There's a lot of excellent work going on in interact clubs in high schools and middle schools around that all the clubs are involved in, and also community projects that really meet the needs in the community. And people brought up a lot of things that they did, like egg hunts and Memorial Day programs and action to raise funds. There were some things that were really unique. One of the clubs is doing financial literacy programs in conjunction with the high school, which is a really important thing, I think, and that's being very successful for them. Another club is utilizing a high school student to do their social media, and that's given them good relationships with the schools, as well as improved and enlightened social media. So those were the kinds of things that we discussed in our group.
Thank you. And were questions posed to you regarding your E-Club?
Well, not really. We're very new because we were only chartered as a satellite club in June. And of course, one of the interesting things is that now that everybody is an E-Club, it's changed people's attitudes about E-Clubs quite a bit. So I think that hopefully will make it easier for other people who might be considering a long-term participation in an E-Club to see our club as a valuable service in our district. So we're welcoming new members to come and join us.
So would you be willing to be a speaker at one of these Rotary clubs?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
And a number of us would be delighted to do that.
Okay. And Julita's here too, or she was. Is she?
Juletta, yes. Yes, there she is.
There she
Juletta.
is, Juletta.
And our president, Steve Warren, was on here somewhere
Yes.
earlier.
He's still
right?
So you had a
He's
high
still there.
percentage of,
Okay.
high percentage of E-Clubbers here. Thank
Right.
you.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's go to sharing the joy of Rotary, and I'd like to have 2 reports on that. Could the first? Don't be shy.
Hi, my name is Trish, and I'm from the Cortland Rotary. We were talking about the value of Rotary and how do we share that with our community, and also within our members and our new members. So keeping our members engaged, but also bringing in those new members. And a lot of us are getting this Zoom fatigue. And, you know, we're just tired of these Zoom meetings, and we're really wanting to see people. And we were throwing around ideas because at this time we have to think outside the box. And we were trying to we were talking about different fun days that we can have and how to connect either virtually or in person. Getting together with other Rotary clubs in your area, so connecting with other clubs that are in your area and getting to know those members as well. We also talked about who do we invite to Rotary? It's not just the, the mayors anymore. It's, thinking, it's not just, business, it's who will make an impact. Maybe it's not the mayor, but maybe it's the, assistant or the grad assistant who can, make an impact and represent. And I really liked that idea. How do we market our club? We were talking about marketing our club and marketing our members. And how do we share that? Lots of people like to be recognized. So we've got a ton of great ideas. I'm very excited about it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. What about one more, sharing the joy of Rotary?
There was only 5 of us.
Okay.
So.
But could be from another breakout, was there? Okay, if not, may you find some joy, according to Jen. Let's take a look at building on your momentum. Could we have someone report out on that?
Paul Quay from the Rotary Club of Cleveland. We had 4 or 5 good ideas. One was to stay in touch. I'm walking more and more each day, so when I take my walk, I dial up people in Rotary and just check in to see how we're doing.
Oh.
One of the ideas was to have a social event. Our club is having a Rotary wine tasting tomorrow night, and if you can just show up, you can learn more about that. And if you happen to have a bottle of wine, you could share in a Bible study and be guilt-free about that. Our thought was we have several isolated members who don't want to go out and catch whatever it is that they might catch. So we could either be their buddy and call them up and say hello, or have them call up and talk about how they're doing and share some continuity with Rotary. And our last idea was to have a fundraiser, since the pancake breakfast and other fundraisers may have been canceled. Think about ideas that you could have. One of them was a raffle about wine or spirits that you might have that you could do online and still be able to fund your service projects with a different kind of fundraiser. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And for our last one on building your momentum, is there someone else who would like to share?
I'm Sharon, and I'm with the Rotary Club of Cleveland. We had, I think, 9 clubs represented. We started talking about the mechanisms, and most of the clubs were Zoom only or they were hybrid. One of the things that most people felt is that the fellowship is one of the most important parts of the meeting right now while they're using Zoom. A couple of the things that were highlights on what they've been doing to build momentum is working with their community, their youth. One club provided water bottles, reusable water bottles to schools. One did backpacks. A few things that they have decided was important in the changing of non-human contact is to better the online presence for grant writing and things of that nature. So a lot more techie type items. And then as far as overcoming the isolation, some clubs are doing a buddy system, getting together one-on-one, doing some socials. And one club did, I really like this idea, they did a drive-in movie experience, and they partnered with a library and the city and provided a big screen and did a drive-in and movie for their community. And we did find out that there is a Zoom techie within 6600, which I'm going to hunt down because they say that you can do raffle on Zoom and there's a platform for it. So that's what we learned.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And all this came about with the work of your steering committees. Okay, here you see all the people who were on the steering committee. Was a great committee, and an awful lot of hours were contributed between January and now to make this a positive event, which we hope it was. I'm going to miss all those emails. Special thanks and kudos go to our registration duo, Mike Devanzo and Bev Skwarzinski. I've learned how to spell her last name without having to look it up. And Mike and Bev prepared the registration information so that Greg and Cheryl could create the breakout sessions for you. This workshop would not have been possible without these folks. Thank you for all your many hours of service. And as I said, on there, you can see we had folks from all three districts, and Greg from his district in Tennessee. So evaluations are really important of any event in whatever format. So the changes that we made in this year's membership workshop came from suggestions from last time. So we're going to have 6 quick poll questions for you. The answers are all anonymous. And if you want to submit additional comments, please contact your district membership chair or your district governor. You have about 30 seconds to answer each one. So Greg or Cheryl, can we go to the poll questions? First one, and I'm going to read them because since it's recorded, it needs to be read. The timing of the breakout sessions was, and please click on one, either too short, too long, or just the right length.
We're there. Would you like to see the results?
Yes, please.
Oh, I got it.
And the results are? Okay, just the right length gives you, okay, thank you so much for this. We will take this. Let's go to the second one. And which session did you attend? Please check 1. Keeping your clubs vital, sharing the joy of Rotary, building on your momentum, and making Rotary work. Okay, and then Cheryl will let us know when we get close to.
We're there.
Are we there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see the results. Okay. Keeping your clubs vital. Interesting. So let's close. Go to the third one, please. Okay, what is the size of your Rotary Club? 8 to 20, 21 to 45, 46 to 70, 71 to 100, or 100 and more. Deleta, if you would please notice, we changed that first one for you from 8 to 20.
Still a couple coming in.
Okay.
There's the results.
Thank you. Right, let's go to the fourth one. Does your Rotary Club have a membership chair? Yes, no, or don't know. And it was interesting in one of the reports where someone said, it's not the membership chair who's just in charge of membership. Okay. Are we ready for that one? Oh, good. That's good news. So some work to do. Right. The fifth one. What do you need to make your club more successful? And choose 3, please. You have speakers, presenters focusing on member engagement, additional support from district chairs and committees, strategies for virtual meetings and events during COVID-19, club membership chair and committee training, membership resources, all of the above, or nothing.
Interesting.
How are we doing, Cheryl?
They're still coming in.
Good. Well, there's more to think about on this one.
Okay, I'll end the polling now
Yes, please.
and sharing the results.
Okay. So membership chairs and those of you on committees and district governors, this is what we need to, and you've got your Rotary coordinators there to help you, like Bob Callahan, who was with us. Anything you need, we can get it for you. So, and our last question. How was your club meeting during COVID-19? In person only, virtually only, hybrid, which is in person and virtually, or not at all?
Those are your results.
Okay, thank you. 1% not at all. Again, information, if you need any information on that, your district membership chairs, your DGs, or send me a message, we can work things out. Okay. You'd like you to be, thank you for being a part of this membership event. And Bev, in terms of the resources, does everybody have a copy of those resources?
Yes, it was attached to the, at a glance, it went to all participants as well as the facilitators and hosts.
Okay. And the reason I ask, because I consider workshops like these as a toolbox. And so we want to put tools in your toolbox. And you've gotten some tools from our presenters and from your breakout sessions. And we wanted to put some things in your hand. I always like when I leave something that there's something tangible. In this case, it will be once you print it out. But if you don't have a Rotary Club Central account, get one. There is just, they've upgraded it. It's a lot more user-friendly than it has been. And there's so many resources for you. One of the ones you might want to start with is the Rotary Club Health Check. Might be one of the first ones to see, determine if with the members, if you want to keep things the way they are or not. All the YouTubes, all you have to do is type them in, and they're just a lot more than that. We wish you luck in all you do. Your membership chairs and district governors are there to help you, as is your Rotary coordinator. Breakout room hosts are going to be contacted individually about procedures for sending the session recordings. And I want to close with a quote from Bob Callahan. I believe that there are many potential Rotarians seeking what Rotary has to offer, the opportunity to serve. Our goal should be to help them find their opportunity for happiness in Rotary service. So folks are out there who want to serve their community. Let's lead them to Rotary. Stay safe, be well. We're adjourned. Thank you for being here.